This is Batu from Cuscen. Today, we'll be exploring the finance module with a focus on the nonprofit organizations. Let's begin with the cost center under General Ledger. The cost center is crucial for nonprofits as it helps track and manage expenses related to specific departments or projects. It plays a vital role in budgeting, reporting, and ensuring funds are used effectively to achieve the organization's mission. You can easily view and monitor different budgets, their validity, and activity. This close monitoring allows nonprofits to make informed decisions about resource allocation and program effectiveness, making the cost center an invaluable tool. In the cost center, we can see the descriptions, our cost groups, our categories, as well as our department. We can also see the dates, and as you can see, both of them are active. Lastly, we can see who created the specific center and when. And if we wanna add a brand new cost center, we can simply click on Add. We're gonna have to put our cost center description, our category, our departments, our dates, budget, and if there's any notes, we can put it up here. And when we are all done, we basically click on Save, and that will update our cost center dashboard. Next, we'll delve into GL General Ledger transaction. These transactions are foundational to financial accounting, ensuring nonprofits maintain transparency, accountability, and compliance with regulatory requirements. The GL transactions include posting periods, original date, description, debit and credit amounts. As you can see, all neatly organized for accuracy and ease of reporting to donors, grantees, and regulatory bodies, basically. This comes with our batch number and our status as well. If you want to categorize them, you can categorize them by period. You can also do from date to date. We have the option to export or import the information as well. And again, if you want to add a brand new GL transaction, I can simply click on Add, and that will take me to this page. And we're going to have to put our journal type, our posting date, and as you can see, we have multiple currencies, and we're going to have to choose one. And this one, I'm just going to go with USD. We're going to have to put our description. Below that, we have the item. We're going to have to put our account code and our branch. We're going to have to choose our warehouse. And we're going to have to choose our debit amount, credit amount, and other necessary information on the far right, such as cost center, project, and so on. And once we're all done with the filling of necessary information, we can click on Save, and that will update my GL transaction dashboard. We'll also cover the importance of month-end closing within the General Ledger module. This process finalizes accounts and prepares financial statements for the month. It's crucial for nonprofits to ensure all financial actions are accurately recorded and reported, providing a clear picture of organizational performance and aiding in planning for the upcoming months. Under the closing date and fiscal year, we can see our modules. As you can see, some of them are sale, some of them are purchase. You can also see our document date, and each module has a reference number here. And if you want to go into more specific, I can click on that specific reference number, and that will take me to another tab. And we can see our below item, we can see my title code as well as with the description and other necessary information on the far right. We can also see our status here and our pending description as well. Moving to the account receivable module, we'll start with the sales invoice. While nonprofits may not sell in the traditional sense, they often issue invoices for grants, sponsorships, or services. Accurate management of sales invoice ensures the organization receives the funds owed, vital for maintaining cash flow and funding ongoing programs. Under sales invoice, we can categorize them by date and period again. And our status, we can do completed, all, open, and so on. Under that, we have the list. As you can see, all the current sales invoices we have at the moment with their invoice number, status, their branch, project number. We can see our posting period, our invoice date, our customer code with their customer name. We can see our net amount, total amount, and our amount paid. Next, we'll look at the account receivable open item. This section helps track outstanding invoices and follow up and overdue payments, ensuring timely receipt of funds. It's crucial for operations and program funding. Here, under AR open item, we can categorize them by our projects, or branch, or a customer code. Below that, we have, as you can see, all our invoice reference numbers with their branch, project, their status. Again, we can see our customer code with their customer names. With the currency code, we can see our currency rate. We can also see our invoice amount, our posting date, due date, and so on. Next, we have the account receivable prepayment section. This section allows recording and managing advance payments from donors or grantees. It's basically aiding in cash flow management and future expense planning. Here, we can categorize them by date as well. Below that, we can see all our batch number with the status. We can see all our branches, posting date, our customer code with their customer name. We can also see our total debit amount and credit amount. We also have action buttons on the top. I can either release this document, approve it, or cancel it. If you want to go in a detailed view, I can double click on that specific prepayment, and I can see what kind of journal type it is, our batch number, our ledger, currency code. I can see the status and our total cash back balance. Below that, I can see the two account codes with their description, from which branch. I can see that as well, our currency, with the currency rate, their debit and credit amount. Below, next to the item, we have the transaction. I can see transaction currency and our total debit and credit amounts. If there's an attachment, I can edit the attachment just by clicking on the plus button, and I can add it through here. If there's an approval details, it will show up in here, but for the specific one, there is none. And net consideration is who credited this specific AR prepayment, and if there's any last changes that made, you can see that too, and their date as well. In the account payable module, we'll also examine the purchase invoice. Managing purchase invoices is essential for accurately recording and tracking expenses, maintaining transparency, and budgeting. This module provides detailed information, including passing periods, project, branches, invoice date, vendor name, description, and so on. As you can see, the studies sometimes are open, sometimes released, sometimes canceled, sometimes are completed. If you want to, again, we can categorize them by their period, our date. If you want to add a brand new purchase invoice, I can simply click on add, and that will take me to this page. And I'm going to have to choose my type. I can either use AP account payable invoice, or vendor credit, or vendor debit, or so on. I'm also going to have to choose my invoice date with a period. I'm going to choose my vendor. My payment term will update corresponding to who my vendor is. If I need to put my vendor reference as well with the description. Below that, I'm going to have to put my item. For item, I'm going to choose my material. I'm going to go with this first one. As you can see, when I choose my material, our description and item category updated automatically. I'm going to choose my unit and my warehouse. And I can choose my quantity and other necessary information on the far right. Below, next to item, we have the finance. I can see if there's any tax code, I can see it here, or in the payment methods, I can see my AP account number here. I can see the information about the vendor. I can select the role or a payment address. As you can see, are the contact person and shipping address as well. If I want to make any adjustments, I can do it through here. I can adjust the retention percentage, a prepayment, or any discount. I can do a cash discount here as well. And if I want to do any differences, I can offset amounts in here, like offset debit or credit amounts. I can choose an account code and debit and credit amount, and I can go from here. And lastly, with the attachments, an attachment is basically like if you want to add any attachments, I can go through here. And once I'm all done with this new purchase invoice, I can basically click on save, and that will update my main dashboard of purchase invoice. Moving on to the account payable open items section. This section helps manage outstanding liabilities, ensuring timely bill payments and maintaining good relationships with vendors and service providers. As you can see on the top, we have the posting dates. We can choose our branch, our project, our vendor code, and I can choose my status, either open or clear. Below that, we have all our invoice reference numbers, as well as our vendor reference numbers with their corresponding branch. And I can see my status with their vendor code and their vendor name. Again, I can see my currency. We'll have our currency rate. We can see our invoice amount and our invoice-based currency. And far right, we also have the batch number with their description and so on. Next, we'll be moving on to the account payable settlement section. This module is crucial for managing cash flow and meeting financial obligations. With Cuscen, simplifying this process through easy to view, and you can also see, we can see the batch number again with their status, branch, posting period, posting date, vendor code, vendor name. We can categorize them by date. I also have my actions bottom on the tab. I can release this specific document, for example, or I can request a document or approve the document and so on. Let's go, for example, this open settlement. On the top, we have the information like, journal type, company, vendor code. I can see my ledger, our currency code, our vendor name. On the far right, I have the cashback balance, and I can see my total bank balance in here. Below that, we have the item with their account code and their invoice reference number with their description, of course. I can see their corresponding branch. With the currency, I can see my currency rate again with their debit and credit amounts. Next to item, we have the transaction, again, transaction currency with our transaction debit and credit amounts. If I want to add any attachments, I can do it through here. And yeah, that's pretty much it for account payable settlement section. Now we'll be moving on to the cash module. We'll cover recording direct expense for staff. This module is crucial for managing personal cost and ensuring donor funds are used effectively to support staff. Again, I can categorize them by a period and their date. As below that, we can see our document number with their status, their corresponding branch, and their posting period and their posting date. I can see the staff ID and our document reference numbers and our net total amount here as well. And again, we also have our action buttons. I can release this specific document or cancel it. Next, we have the catch transaction. This section is vital for maintaining control over finances, preventing fraud, and ensuring funds are available when it's needed. Again, I can categorize them by period in here or date. Below that, we can see our batch number with our company code, fiscal year, journal type. I can see our ledger with the posting date plus posting time. And I can see my credit amount, our total debit amount, our currency credit amount, and other necessary information on the far right here as well. If you want to add a brand new catch transaction, I can simply click on Add to add a new catch transaction. Lastly, let's move on to the bank reconciliation. This section involves comparing organizational records with bank statements to ensure accuracy. This process is essential for identifying discrepancies, preventing fraud, and maintaining financial integrity, which builds trust with donors or stakeholders. Again, I can categorize them by year and month. Below that, when we set all the year and month, we can see all the bank accounts number, their status, which year, also the month. I can see from date to date, our statement dates, our opening balance, our period amount, and our closing balance as well. Thank you for listening to my demo on the Cuscen finance section for nonprofits.